We will see if Houston can try and slow down the two-way player currently pacing the Mountaineers offense with 19 points per game.
Thanks, Brooke. Tip is up, and we are underway from the Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas. And the Cougars will get the ball, but immediately a turnover, and West Virginia already showing that tough defense.
And that's exactly what Coach Kellogg wants his team to set the tone, and from the tip, immediately they force a steal. They're so good at that, and you're going to see a lot more of that throughout this entire game.
There's Quinterly, but a nice job by Merchant for Houston. Your starting five of the 6 healthy bodies on this team. Merchant, Cook, led by senior Layla Blair, and then you've got Aaliyah Love and Peyton McFarland as well. And we say 6 healthy bodies, and we still kind of say that a little reluctantly. A couple of these players playing with some tweaks, with some bumps and bruises, so I would still not say these 6 are 100%.
That's exactly right. Not healthy, I will say they are available. So yeah, they're all banged up. They're all dealing with so many different little injuries that they've just continued to build and just get worse and worse. And when you only have one sub, it makes it really difficult to have that time to rest and recover. So they're no doubt battling through a lot of injuries right now.
The starting 5 for West Virginia has been pretty much the same starting 5 you have seen all season. Quinterly with a nice look, and a good offensive rebound by the Mountaineers after the miss by Quinterly. We remain scoreless. Nice little floater right there, put up by Jordan Harrison, the junior from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and West Virginia is up 2-0 early here in the first.
I like the patience that we saw. They are scoring in the half-court setting. That's really what Coach Kellogg is challenging them with, is finding out that offensive identity. How can we score in different ways in the half-court, not just relying on those transition buckets. His team doing that just there for the first bucket of the game.
Shot clock at 5 as Love goes up and misses, and West Virginia quickly heading back down the court. Inside, nice pass, and unable to finish is Blackston. A really nice look, and that's one of those missed shots that Coach Kellogg talked to us before this game. They have got to execute that.
Yeah, I asked him what he was looking for more of with this offense, and he said, we're missing open three-pointers and we're missing some layups. That is one of them right there. Should have converted it. It was right around the rim, just a lack of focus in that situation.
Houston struggling to find a shot as West Virginia is being very tough on defense. That ball will stay with the Cougars, but just over 2 seconds on the shot clock. It'll have to be a very quick inbound and shot for Houston.
And Layla Blair is like the coach on the floor. She needs to recognize that, make sure everyone on her team understands that. Nice job there. They don't score, but they did recognize it. They got to look up.
They got exactly what they were looking for. Again, just lack of execution there. West Virginia now will come on down. Blackston shoots a 3 and misses that one off the rim as well. West Virginia, a little bit of a press there, but not much. I think they understand that this is going to be a very tough game physically for Houston, and right now they are just doing what they can to stop them on defense down here at this end of the court.
And they like to switch things up on defense. They don't want to be one-dimensional. So we have seen that full court pressure that they apply and how they can create those steals and create havoc, but they also can come back and do some trapping and do some different things in the half-court setting as well. So we're going to see multiple things thrown at Houston throughout this one. Right now, we haven't seen too much of that denial pressure full court.
Houston back down to 5 on the shot clock. Layla Blair kicks it out. One more pass. Merchant now. That's going to be deflected. And again, very good defense for West Virginia. Shot clock violation for Houston. And the ball goes back to the Mountaineers. West Virginia, 2 straight games keeping opponents to 50 points or less. You mentioned it in the open, Austin. In that last game against Kansas, the Jayhawks almost went scoreless in the first quarter.
There was about 30 seconds left in the first quarter before they got their first bucket. The game before that, West Virginia also had a span where they held their opponent to scoreless for about 7 minutes. So that's just, they really put on the defensive clamps, they focus, and they just are such a lockdown, defensive-minded team.
Houston scoreless right now, but only down by 2. Blair with the 3 off the rim, and that'll be a whistle blown, and it will be West Virginia's ball. So Blair, nice look right there. I like the shot, but again, just haven't gotten anything to fall.
You'll take that look every time. Layla Blair, one of your best three-point shooters. She's the leader of this team, leading your team in points and assists. So she does it all, and that's exactly the type of shot that you will take every time down the floor if you're Coach Huey.
Traveling called on Harrison, so the ball will go back to Houston. You mentioned Blair. She is averaging 13 points per game. That does lead the Cougars. And, you know, coming into the season, before any of the injuries happened, I mean, we were talking Layla Blair. It was a huge get for Houston to get her to come back for that 5th year. They were so excited to have her as that team leader, which she has been for so many years of her career at Houston. And here you are, down to the nitty-gritty, just a few bodies hanging on, and Blair's one of them. Merchant with a nice look, but misses, but a good offensive rebound by Love, but she just can't finish it.
For Houston to stay in this one, you got to convert anything within the paint, anything around the rim, because West Virginia can score in bunches and they can really slow you down. So you have to convert on those opportunities right there.
Another turnover, but then right back to it is JJ Quinterly, and that is why she is one of the best defenders in the country. Finishes it off with a basket.
And that's one of those pick sixes. You get the steal and the immediate layup. That's something Coach Huey has said. We can live with some turnovers, but when it goes to a layup on the other end, that's what frustrates him. And you can see him getting Bostic ready to come into this game, wanting to probably pull Kiara Merchant and talk to her about that turnover right there.
Yeah, you definitely cannot sleep on this West Virginia defense. Another shot missed by Houston, but an offensive rebound and a missed shot by Merchant. And then a foul will be called, and it is going to be on West Virginia. Sydney Shaw called for the foul on the floor against Aaliyah Love.
Aaliyah Love, nice position here, walking out, staying in front, just going up, and a nice job there, kind of drawing the attention of that there was some contact and a little bit of push, and since she was in front, she had the position, the call goes her way.
Houston still looking for their first basket of the game. They are 0 for 9 from the field. West Virginia just 2 for 7 as they're up 4-0 here in the first quarter. McFarland working inside, and this one off the rim, doesn't fall, but a nice offensive rebound. However, I do believe they are going to call a turnover there on McFarland. So we are going to hit our first. For more on that defense for West Virginia, let's go down to Brooke.
Yeah, West Virginia has forced 15 or more turnovers in every game this season, including 20 or more in 18 games. Their 25 turnover average ranks 3rd best in the nation. But for Coach Kellogg, he'd like to see more of those turnovers equate to points on the other end. He told us this week that as they look to set themselves up for success in the postseason, their defense needs to do a better job of leading the offense.
Thanks, Brooke. And yeah, I think that's what West Virginia is looking for right now is some more points. They're playing great defense, holding Houston to 0 right now as we are more than halfway through the first quarter. But the Mountaineers not necessarily capitalizing on some of those opportunities.
The example that Coach Kellogg gave us was in that Kansas game earlier this week. He said they forced 19 turnovers in the first half, but they only had 39 points going into the locker room. He said if we were an elite team, we would have had at least 50 points. So his expectations are high. The bar just continues to rise because he wants to have that postseason success. So he's hard on his players and he wants them to just do the best they can in every game, and he's pushing them to get better even though they have been such a dominant defensive team.
West Virginia has forced 5 turnovers so far. Houston has forced 3. 3-point shot by Quinterly, and she sinks it. JJ Quinterly, the senior out of Norfolk, Virginia, only 29% 3-point shooter, but a nice shot right there to put West Virginia up by 7.
Quinterly spearheads the defense, but she is also a playmaker on the offensive end, leads her team in scoring, and she can light it up quickly. When she gets going, she can go on a span of her own where she can score in 3 or 4 straight positions. So you don't want to allow her to get caught if you're Houston.
An offensive foul called on Aaliyah Love. Nice job there by Harrison to take that one. And it's been a pretty physical game so far.
and the physicality. No surprise, even though Houston is banged up, they want to also be known for their defense. They want to apply that pressure and create turnovers. Last year, they were one of the best in forcing turnovers and steals, and so they have been limited in their numbers, and we haven't seen that much execution on the defensive end because of that, but that's how they want to play every game, is also with that physicality on the defensive end.
Another turnover for West Virginia. Sydney Shaw called for traveling. Shaw, the junior out of Miami, Florida, transfer from Auburn. There's another turnover, and Quinterly again just getting it done for the Mountaineers as she adds 2 more to the total. Mountaineers up 9-0. And there's that full court press, that pressure that West Virginia is putting on. Houston gets out of it. Gigi Cook tries to pull up and jump, but she's going to get blocked by Kaya Watson. Quickly down to the other side of the court, and 1 for Jordan Harrison.
West Virginia playing with paint, a nice way for Houston to do so.
An 86% free throw shooter, and she does sink the extra 1. So now 12-0, West Virginia up. And the thing is, what I've been impressed about too is Houston will look like they have a shot. They'll see no one in front of them, and then all of a sudden a Mountaineer comes from the side just like that, or even from behind. Quinterly with the steal. Nice pass to Harrison, who misses. Quinterly misses, but on the second attempt, she'll get it to go in. So a couple of tries right there. Coach Kellogg doesn't look super excited about how many times that took, but they do end up with the basket.
They were just padding their stats a little bit. They each wanted to get a rebound before they got the bucket, but yes, that's again those missed layups where when you're playing an elite team in the postseason where the stakes are so high, you can't afford to miss that layup because you're not going to have that second and third chance look at it.
And then that was the second foul on Layla Blair. And I know we've been talking about injuries, but you also have to stay out of foul trouble when you only have 6 bodies.
It's a difficult situation because you want to play hard defensively, but you have to play so smart and recognize that you are limited in numbers and you can't afford to give up a couple fouls and put yourself on the bench and force your teammates to play for the rest of this half without you.
A nice steal. Just under 2.5 minutes left to play in the first. Houston trying to get past this pressure. Gigi Cook did a nice job of getting past the pressure, then lost the ball, but she ends up back with it. Houston scoreless in this game. They are 0 for 10 from the field. Love with a 3-point shot off the rim. That misses. Easy rebound for Watson. West Virginia moving quickly. Quinterly with the 3, and she sinks another. And I mentioned Quinterly, just 29% for 3-point shooter, but she already has 2 on the day.
She's perfect in this one, has knocked down both of her outside shots, and when you get hot like that, you're starting to punch your shot, and so Houston has to recognize that Quinterly is going to be aggressive, looking for more 3-point shoot opportunities throughout this one, and they have to have a hand in her face at all times.
5 seconds left on the shot clock. McFarland, little turnaround jumper, and she scores. And finally, I think a little bit of a relief breath from the entire arena here at the Fertitta Center. Houston with their first 2 points. But then Quinterly immediately answers back with another 3.
Absolutely. You exhale for just a second if you're Houston. You get your first bucket of the game, but you can't let up, and that's exactly what West Virginia just took advantage of. They push it down the floor, and they knock down another 3. They are just playing relentless defense, and they're not letting up in any situation. Every possession, they are making the most of it right now.
Cook with a decent look, misses, but McFarland cleans it up. And Houston with 2 more. Less than 30 seconds left to play here in the first. And we knew we were going to see a special player today with J.J. Quinterly, but this has even exceeded my expectations, what we've seen from her so far.
Yeah, her 16 points. She's 3 for 3 from 3. Also has a couple rebounds. and a couple steals, and so that's just already padding the stat sheet right there, and we're only 1 quarter into it.
Harrison really kind of worked the clock down and then found a nice wide open lane for 2 more. So West Virginia at the end of the first quarter, the 18th
tournament in March, and so they really want to move up on the standings. Just 1 or 2 places will make a huge difference for that postseason tournament.
Yeah, after Houston, they are on the road at Baylor. That's one of those teams ahead of them. And then they will also face Kansas State and TCU before the end of regular season play. Love misses right there. Nice defense by number 23, Jordan Thompson. The freshman out of Carrollton, Texas, has seen minutes in all 22 games, has had 2 starts this season. So some really good experience for the freshman.
And even though Houston didn't score that possession, they got a look, and it didn't allow West Virginia to get a transition look. So they're going to take that. That's a win in their book, is that they got a good look. They're going to eventually knock some of those down, and it also eliminates that opportunity for the Mountaineers to push it in transition and get a quick bucket.
Quinterly missed on that last one. I think some of the Houston fans saying, finally. She has been so good so far. An errant pass by Love as she's kind of falling out of bounds, and another turnover for the Cougars. Layla Blair will re-enter the game now for Houston. She's got 2 fouls, so has to play smart. Again, the Cougars with only 6 bodies available today. And so obviously staying healthy and out of foul trouble are 2 priorities. Harrison with the jumper, that misses, but rebounded by Woodley, kicks it out, and Harrison will track it down. Both Harrison and Quinterly have been fantastic on the day. Harrison with 9 points, Quinterly with 16.
They're still the only 2 scorers for West Virginia in this one. So if Houston can find a way to just slow down the dynamic guard play, they're going to be able to slowly chip away at it. But right now, Quinterly and Harrison doing all the work with every single point for West Virginia.
Only 3 players in this entire game have scored. You've got the 2 for West Virginia, Quinterly and Harrison, and then Peyton McFarland, the only player to score for Houston. There's a bucket right there, finally, by someone else.
Watson heard you in that situation. She said, okay, I'll get in on it too. Here's the bucket.
All right. So yeah, so now we've got 3 players on the board for West Virginia as Kyle Watson, the senior out of Rapid City, South Dakota, gets a bucket, and then Summer Bostic with the wide open 3.
A great look there, and Layla Blair coming back in with those 2 fouls. She's their leading scorer, but she's also the facilitator, and so she's the one that's able to set up the offense for Houston and distribute it, and we saw it just there in that situation.
Good defense by Merchant, but Quinterly's able to kick it out to Woodley. Now Harrison with a 3 ball, that misses, and Merchant has the rebound. West Virginia up by 20. Blair with the long 3, and she sinks it right from the top of the key. Nice shot by Layla Blair, the 5th year for Houston.
And this is how Houston just needs to continue to play. Get some good looks. They're going to make some. And more than anything, you just can't go on a span of 7, 8, 9 minutes without scoring. Those are so detrimental to your team like we saw in the first quarter.
Peyton McFarland called on that foul. Here's another look at this 3. Nice job by Cook to kick it out.
Yeah, a great job there attacking, drawing the defense in, and Layla Blair's defender just helped off 1 step and created just enough space for Layla Blair to get that shot off from the top of the key.
So Thomas will go to the line as Sydney Shaw enters the game for West Virginia. Thomas 61% from the line. Something that I'm sure she will definitely continue to work on as her career progresses at West Virginia. Misses the first. Again, the freshman out of Carrollton, Texas, has played in all 22 games this season. Misses both. And now Houston will head back down the court.
Coach Kellogg getting really upset right there with Thomas. She was coming out and guarding McFarland, and I think he wants her to just stay in the paint, clog things up around the rim, and not allow Houston to get any drives. McFarland has shown that she's not going to shoot those outside shots, and so that's how they're deciding how they want to play defensively, even when McFarland comes out to set that pick and roll.
Thomas tries to get it inside to Moore, but it's a turnover for West Virginia, and Houston playing some good defense on their own. You can start to see the fatigue, and Peyton McFarland is working so hard inside for Houston. But again, with just no substitutions on the bench, I mean, she's pretty much been the only big they've had all season with the early injuries that this Houston team has suffered.
McFarland has dealt with this more than anyone else throughout this season. The true only 5 on the roster that's available for Houston with all the injuries. So she has been playing more minutes than she expected for this season, and she battles also in practice every day as the only 5 getting reps with the first team and the second team. So no doubt her conditioning is great, but it takes a toll on your body.
Traveling called on Kiera Merchant. So another turnover for the Cougars. Aaliyah Love will re-enter the game. And Coach Huey just doing everything he can to give players a little bit of rest here and there so they can keep going. As this game, we still have quite a ways to go. 27-10, West Virginia up by 17, just over 5 minutes left to play. There's another look at the inside. They're really trying to get that to Tirza Moore, the senior, but she's had 2 passes, one's been turned over, and the other one, that one was just way too high.
And right now with McFarland on the bench for Houston, West Virginia needs to take advantage of their size. Aaliyah Love is a versatile defender. She can guard about 1 through 5, but she is definitely undersized in the matchup against Thomas. So the Mountaineers need to recognize that and go post her up, and Thomas needs to demand the ball.
A steal by Moore, another turnover. West Virginia headed down. Harrison with just a little floater in the paint and will be fouled on the shot. Aaliyah Love getting called on the foul. West Virginia
roster, they set the tone in games and are fantastic defenders, but they're a little bit of a blessing and a curse on the offensive end because they are such talented guards. They sometimes try to do too much instead of kicking it out more and then looking to get it back. We have seen Coach Kellogg be a little bit frustrated with them on the offensive end, but they are still having success around the rim.
Harrison makes her free throw, and then we'll check out of the game for Quinterly.
And what Brooke's talking about, they are so dynamic, and in any one-on-one situation, either one of them are going to go and score. They can do it. They have that ability. They are playmakers. But what Coach Kellogg is talking about is he wants that offensive identity, everyone to be involved, the assist numbers to go up. And so don't force it. Yes, in a one-on-one setting, he's going to trust either one of them to go make a play, but they're trying to work as a team and get better each and every game, because that's how you're going to have the most success once it comes to the postseason.
Merchant with a jumper, that misses. And quickly down the court is Shaw. Layup misses. And Merchant with the rebound. Shaw, she had a team-high 22 points against Kansas in their last game, but she is scoreless on the day. Blair will be fouled as she puts up a shot in the paint. And this is what you mentioned, Austin, is trying to get to the free throw line. You want to play physically, obviously you want to play smart, but if you can get to the free throw line, that may be one of your best bets at scoring against this West Virginia defense.
And this is the first time that Houston is getting to the free throw line with that attack by Layla Blair. So that's something you have to recognize. An easy way to get points when you're struggling to score the ball is getting to the free throw line. That can calm things down. You can get a couple baskets, and it also allows you to get set up on the defensive end and not allow West Virginia to have those transition looks that we've seen multiple times throughout this one.
And it's not a long time, but it is a breather for your team as well.
That is also very true, and especially with the limited numbers, Houston will take any second they can get to have a second to breathe.
Blair does go 2 for 2 from the free throw line. She is an 80% free throw shooter. Now West Virginia working with about 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And they're going to scramble for it on the ground, and then a traveling call on Quinterly. So a turnover for the Mountaineers. And a nice job by Houston defensively during that possession.
Yeah, great job by Bostic there, getting around Thomas and then a hustle play, a heady play to get the ball and able to throw it off of Thomas, and then you have your teammates come dive for the ball and it goes your way, but that was all because of the hustle that Bostic showed.
Blackston checks back in for the Mountaineers. Bostic's passes is deflected, but right back to her. She hangs on to the possession. Cook bounce passes inside. Nice look right there. And Bostic will draw the foul from Shaw.
A nice job there, Houston, finally able to attack it, and Cook dishing it off at the last second. It's what they need to continue to do, but it's difficult to do because of that pressure that West Virginia is applying. They're active hands, they move their feet, and they play really solid one-on-one defense, and it makes it hard for Houston to have that opportunity to drive to the paint.
Bostic 71% from the line, sinks her first. Houston has not had any baskets in the last 4 minutes other than the free throws from Layla Blair, and now Summer Bostic just 1 of 2 in her attempts.
Those are those droughts we're talking about where Houston cannot go on a span of 7, 8, 9 minutes without scoring a field goal. They had it in the first quarter, and if you're going to weather the storm, you can't have multiple spans like that.
JJ Quinterly with a nice drive to the basket. She'll add 2 more to her total. That's 18 on the day for Quinterly. She averages 19 points per game. That is a team lead, and she is already at 18 on the day, 7 of 11. More impressively, I think it's the 3 of 4 three-point shots, which is not necessarily something she's known for. Nice pass inside and a great finish by Kira Merchant, the sophomore out of Spring, Texas. She has been a young player who has had to take on a lot of responsibility this season.
We've seen Kira Merchant grow in front of us because of the opportunities that she's been given this year. So if you think back to the beginning of the season to how she's playing now, there's definitely so much development and confidence. And she had spurts last year as a freshman of showing so much potential, but consistency has been an issue and kind of the key focus that Coach Huey wants to see from Kira Merchant. And now consistently playing pretty much the entire game, she's getting so many opportunities to just get better and better.
Yeah, and defensively, she leads the team coming into this game with 53 steals and 21 blocks on the season. She'll get called for the foul, I believe, right there, but has done really a nice job defensively, and as you mentioned, growing into that player. And you know, it's a tough season, no doubt, for Houston, but when you do take away some of the bright spots, it is some of the opportunities that these younger players have had, and they're going to look back on this season and say, man, that was tough, but look how much I grew as a player from having those opportunities.
And something Coach Huey told his team is, hey, imagine how many players are out there right now that would die for an opportunity to play 40 minutes in a Big 12 game. There are so many basketball players out there that are sitting the bench or didn't even make a team and didn't get any offers to play college basketball. And so he's saying, make the most of it, enjoy this time, get better, and just focus on what you can control.
And sometimes too, and you'll have to attest to this as you played in the Big 12, you know, there are certain games where you just go in and you say, you've got nothing to lose. And sometimes it's that sense of freedom of that you're not scared of failure because you just are going to go out there and do whatever you can. There are almost no expectations. It's kind of that sense of freedom.
Exactly. West Virginia, they're on the road, but they're the 18th ranked team. They are expected to win. They should have this lead right now because of the talented players that they have. But for Houston, you have to know, okay, just go and play our game. Let's play free, like you said, and just try to get better. Focus on themselves and don't focus on the opponent.
Bostic 1 for 2 from the line, 32-16, as Houston was able to come away with that rebound. A missed shot, but Merchant doing a nice job of just getting everything she can off the glass. About 90 seconds left to play in the half. Houston without Layla Blair on the court, their team leader, but these 5 doing what they can. Harrison will foul Gigi Cook. That's her first of the game.
Houston has settled down a little bit here in the second quarter, started to figure some things out, taking care of the ball more. And if you look at just the second quarter, they're winning 12-7. So credit to the Cougars for not giving up. When you get down quick like that, like they did in the first quarter, it'd be easy to give up and just throw in the towel. But
absolutely.
They're fighting right now. They're playing for pride, and they're just trying to chip away little by little and know they still have an entire second half of basketball.
Houston, 5 wins on the season. All 5 of those wins have come at home. When you look at West Virginia, their conference record, 8-3. Those 3 conference losses all came on the road. And so, yes, as you mentioned, Austin, this is definitely a game that West Virginia on paper should win, but where they have struggled, Coach Kellogg talked to us about it before the game, it has been some of those road games.
They've protected their home court, undefeated at home this season, but on the road, it's always more challenging to go into someone else's environment and play in front of opposing fans, and that's exactly what Coach Kellogg has challenged his team on this 2-game road trip, to win the first one, focus, and also come out and win the second one as well, and go back home with 2 straight wins.
Harrison to Quinterly, but they can't finish. That ball will stay with West Virginia, I believe. The referees are having a conversation about it. Failed to mention them earlier. Our crew today, Dee Cantor, Tiara Cruz, and Doug Knight. Layla Blair checks back in for the Cougars.
Blair, a smart player, and you have to know, you have 2 fouls. You cannot pick up your third with just 50 seconds left here in the second quarter. Do not have any possibility where the refs might question if it was a foul on you, because that would just be a really difficult thing if you pick up your third foul here in the final minute of the first half.
Nice job there by Kaya Watson on the inside, going up and over McFarland. Watson 4 points on the day. About 6 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. That won't matter. Another turnover as West Virginia's defense continues to wreak havoc against Houston this afternoon.
They just moved so quickly. Houston advanced the ball up the court, and it was an immediate double team. They were there ready once Cook had the ball, and so it's just, you have to be so quick and decisive with whatever pass or play you're going to make to break this press, because West Virginia is so smart in the way that they move and they trap so quickly.
Watson with the 3, and she sinks it. A nice assist from JJ Quinterly. And West Virginia will go up 37-18 at the half. Kind of what I think we expected to see, Austin.
Virginia, on the other hand, is really going to try to come out strong and fast and create even more separation than what they've already had here in the first half of play.
We are underway, second half. Quick shot right there by Shaw, and she sinks it. Really nice start to the half for Sydney Shaw. She struggled a little bit there in the first half and got in foul trouble, so we hadn't seen a ton of Shaw. That's her first 3 points on the day.
Coming off her career high 22 points earlier this week against Kansas, so seeing her be held scoreless in the first half, you know that she was wanting to come out here in the second half, get a quick look and feel better about herself, and that just gives you just a boost of confidence that you're going to play with now for the rest of this game after you knock down a shot like that to start the quarter.
Nice pickup right there by McFarland after Cook's miss. Going back to Shaw, she's a transfer from Auburn, and something Coach Kellogg told us was she's putting up way better numbers at West Virginia than she did at Auburn, and that was a big get out of the SEC.
She was an SEC starter, so she understands the physicality and how to play in Power 4 conference basketball, but he said defensively I'm most impressed with her because she's come in and fit into our system that is known for that defensive-minded team, and so he said, I know she can score, I know what she can do on the offensive end, but I'm most proud of the way that she has come in and played defense for us.
Shaw kicks it back out to Watson. Watson thought she was gonna get a look, but that lane closed. Now Shaw driving, but is going to be blocked, and then a whistle blown. Not sure if it was just out of bounds or was a foul called. I think ball's just out of bounds. So a nice defensive play there by Houston.
Shaw, though, just continuing to be aggressive here to start this second half. And another thing about her is she's coming in to a West Virginia team that the other 4 starters all started last year. So they understand how to play together. They mesh well. And it can be difficult to come in that situation and feel like you can find your voice and be a part of this team and give your team your best self, and she's been able to do that. She fits in really nicely with West Virginia as a whole.
Offensive foul called on Jordan Harrison, so that basket will not count. That is Harrison's second personal foul on the day. 40-20 is your score. 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Houston with only 4 points in the first quarter, but then they got a couple of looks like that. Summer Bostic not able to execute, but a nice job by Merchant. Looks like Blair was going to finish it, but an offensive foul called on Layla Blair, and that is her third foul of the game.
A really nice job there, though, by Kiera Merchant, hustling to get the offensive rebound and her team a chance at another look for a basket, and that's a tough call there for Layla Blair to pick up her third foul, but you like the way that the Cougars are playing more aggressive and assertive and getting some good looks.
Quinterly, nice pass, but what looked like a block, and I think Blair's going to get called again, and she is, and now Layla Blair in very serious foul trouble. And sure enough, she will immediately check out as Aaliyah Love comes back into the game. And so you're already down to 6 players, Austin, and now Layla Blair, the best player on your team, has 4 fouls, and we are still very early in the second half.
That's difficult for Houston, and Coach Huey has to be a little frustrated because Layla Blair is a veteran on this team. She understands the situation that her team is in right now. So to go and pick up her 4th foul, she's on the bench not just for the rest of this third quarter, but probably to start the 4th quarter as well.
Bad pass by Harrison. Merchant with the steal, and now Houston with a chance. 41-20, the Cougars trail. Gigi Cook trying to direct traffic. Kind of an easy pass there from Bostic, and Kaya Watson with the steal. And she'll have the driving layup, but then is fouled by Cook, and she'll go to the line.
Kaya Watson, nice anticipation, had her hand up right there in denial and was able to just run through the passing lane. She's just a great defender and a steady presence for West Virginia. She always seems to be in the right place, is what Coach Kellogg said about her, and he said she also covers up so many different mistakes. When they do have a defensive lapse, Kaya Watson is there to make up for it.
Yeah, Watson ranks second in the Big 12 with 3.1 steals per game. That's right behind one of her own players. We're actually going to go down and hear more about Watson from Brooke.
Yeah, when we were talking with Coach Kellogg this week, he said she's our glue player. She's the kid that he cannot take off the floor because she can play at multiple positions, but she also covers everything up for them. Anytime there's a mistake defensively, she seems to always be in the right place. Fantastic defender, but they do want to see her be a little bit more aggressive offensively. But the biggest thing with her coming in as a transfer, she does have postseason experience playing in the Sweet 16 when she played for South Dakota State.
Thanks, Brooke. Yeah, played 2 seasons at South Dakota. That is her home state. She's from Rapid City before transferring to West Virginia. Played all 33 games last season for the Mountaineers.
And for West Virginia, that has those goals of getting back to the NCAA tournament like they did last year and advancing and trying to get to a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8, you have someone like Kyle Watson who understands and knows what it takes to get to that point in the postseason.
Shaw with the 3 attempt, and that one rattles and bounces out. Houston, not a ton of activity inside. It's tough for McFarland to get down the court quick enough, and then just there's so many bodies inside. So Houston doing whatever they can to kind of create something on the outside. Another foul there for the Cougars. That one is Gigi Cook on the offensive foul.
And that's her 3rd now foul of the game. Last week, Houston did have a game where they played with just 5 available players, and so they know the mindset that you have to have where where we can't foul out. We literally don't have a sub available. They do have one today, but it's still a situation where you just have to play smart defensively, and you can't risk putting yourself in foul trouble.
Sydney Shaw starting to heat up a little bit. That is her second 3 of the game. 6 points on the day for Shaw. Again, a team high 22 points in their last contest against Kansas. She was quiet in the first half, gotten a little bit of foul trouble, so we didn't see a lot out of her, but looking good so far in the second. Gigi Cook, what a workhorse on that possession. I mean, truly all day she's been putting in the work, but what a nice play right here. She battles inside, loses the ball, picks it back up, gets the basket, and draws the foul.
Yeah, you can see her just sticking with it, going back for the ball, and just through the contact, she's able to finish. You can see a little bit of just a sigh or frustration, or just it's a difficult situation that Houston is in right now, and you'll take any bucket you can get, and she had to work for that one, no doubt.
Cook misses the free throw, but a pretty hard play. A couple of players on the ground right now. They come down, and Houston does end up with the ball. I think that was Watson and Merchant who just really came down hard. Now McFarland battling for it below. She'll kick it back out to Merchant. Cook with the 3 and sinks it. And you got to give this Houston team credit. They're down by 20, but Austin, they have not quit.
And that's exactly the mindset that you have to have. You have to play the same way, whether you're up by 30 points or down by 30 points. That's your mindset that you should have, is regardless of the score, we're going to play hard, we're going to put our best foot forward and do the best we can. And that's right now what Houston has to continue to do here in the third quarter.
Watson with a nice steal, and Quinterly had the open layup, missed it, got the rebound, but again, that is another possession that Coach Kellogg, I'm sure, will go back, look out on film, and say, this is a shot we absolutely have to execute. Or at least when it comes to field goal percentage, West Virginia, on the other hand, has actually started to slow down a little bit offensively.
That's right. You take the first quarter out of this game completely, eliminate that, and it's a 1-point ball game, but when you start the game and go 9+ minutes without scoring, that is a steep uphill battle that you are climbing right now. So a huge challenge that Houston is presented with, trying to stay within, reach of this one. And when West Virginia comes out of a timeout and knocks down a shot like that, it's just really difficult to create any type of momentum.
Yeah, Sydney Shaw with a shot of desperation as the shot clock was winding down, and hits her third 3 of the day. And then a nice job stopping on defense, and then Blackston, she finishes strong. Kylie Blackston, the senior out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, another one of kind of those transfers into the program, played 2 seasons at Colorado, has been a starter for West Virginia the last 2 seasons. This is her 5th year, looking to really make a mark on this program. Merchant with the 3, and she finds a basket. So a nice answer for Houston, and although this is a big hole, right, that they're going to have to climb out of, Austin, you're seeing some bright spots out of the Cougar offense.
And that's exactly what you do. Coach Huey is telling his team, hey, let's look at this next 3 minutes. What do we do? Can we win this next 3 minutes? You break it down in little spurts like that and just try to win those small battles, and eventually they will add up.
Refs confer right there. It looked like they were going to give Houston that ball, but that will stay with West Virginia. 3 minutes left to play. Mountaineers up 52-28, looking for their 9th Big 12 win on the season. We talked about the schedule that they have coming up, and it definitely does not get any easier, but this was still a game that they saw on their schedule and knew that it was going to be a big road game that they definitely wanted to take care of business in.
Yeah, you look at the overall schedule of the games that West Virginia has left, and it's a gauntlet. They have some really difficult opponents, this 2-game road stretch that they're going on here in Texas, trying to take care of business like they should here at Houston, but then they go to Baylor, and that's a difficult game. So you can see that there, Baylor is ahead of them in the standings. Kansas State is ahead of them in the standings, and so is TCU. And so it's one game at a time mentality, but they know there is still so much to play for, and so they are really focused right now.
And again, where they have struggled, at least in conference play, is on the road. And so if they can get past this Houston team on the road, that Baylor game is definitely going to be one to watch for the Mountaineers. Nice defense by Watson. And a nice job by the Mountaineers to come away with another turnover in this ball game.
And this is their third time that they have a 5-game road trip, and both times they go on the road. They win their first road game, and then West Virginia loses their second road game. And so that's something Coach Kellogg has challenged his team is, hey, yes, we're going to focus on Houston right now, take care of business, but every single time the second part of this road trip, we've lost the game. So can we focus? Can we make those adjustments and be good for 2 straight games on the road and try to pick up a win at Baylor?
Gigi Cook looking for a whistle right there, doesn't get it, but the ball is still Houston's. Cook working hard this game, flying around, trying to make something happen for her team. Aaliyah Love, she will take the step back 3. That one's just short, and Watson quickly gets it to Quinterly, who goes to work. Nice bounce pass on the inside, and good finish by Blackston. Quinterly shaking her hand a little bit there, and it looks like she will actually leave the game and go to the bench. We'll take another look at this and see if maybe she jammed a finger. Again, nice finish by Blackston, but then Quinterly kind of looked over, shaking her hand. So we'll keep an eye on that. Sydney Woodley, she checked in for West Virginia.
Well, this is a game and an opportunity for West Virginia to get some more subs in any ways. They've built this lead. They want to continue to play strong, but this is a great time to give some of your starters a little bit of a rest right now and give some of your bench players an opportunity for more minutes.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more subs from West Virginia just because of the lead that they have had and the hot start that they had with their starters. Because when you get into postseason and at any point in the year, I mean, look at Houston's story this year. There's a nice 3 by Watson, and then almost another deadly steal there. This one by Woodley, but that one bounces out. Going back to, you just never know what's going to happen in a season, and so anytime you have a chance to get some of those younger players, the more inexperienced players, some good game reps, you got to think that's a good opportunity.
Well, I have a feeling we will see more subs in the 4th quarter, but that's just Coach Kellogg and the mentality that he has is like he wants to get his best players even better.
Offense, it looked like a bit.
Brooke will keep an eye on that. She does come back in, and as we mentioned, we're interested to see if more players come in off the bench from West Virginia as this game goes on. Bostic with a 3-point shot, that misses, and Shaw's going to grab that one up. West Virginia up 61-28 with just less than a minute left to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Talking about JJ Quinterly, she's leaving her legacy at West Virginia, but she has aspirations of leading the program to postseason success that they have not experienced before. She wants them to play and deep into postseason, and to do that you have to stay healthy. So good to know that it's nothing too serious, and hoping that she can get some rest for the rest of this game and be good to go for the rest of February and come March.
Houston ball, but you can just see West Virginia refuses to let up. Kaya Watson has been all over the place, and it makes sense that she has been so good on defense this year. Again, ranks 2nd in the conference with just over 3 steals per game, and that is just right behind Quinterly.
Well, when you have stats like that, it makes sense why Coach Kellogg says, I never want to sub her out of the game, because when she's on the floor, she's doing so much. She's a steady presence and a just great defender, and she can also be aggressive on offense, but that is something he's challenged her with, is doing more and asserting yourself on the offensive end.
Layla Blair back in the game and makes herself known with a 3-point shot. Nice job by Blair, but West Virginia still with a significant lead. They very hot in the first quarter. She had 16 points. She's got 18 right now, so she's definitely cooled off a little bit. But Coach Kellogg said, he goes, she's the kind of player who can have 2 points in a half and still be okay with the way she's dishing out the ball and she's getting rebounds and playing defensively, or she can have 22 points in a half, and obviously she's feeling great about that. So you gotta love that in a player who can be so level-headed that no matter what the numbers are, as long as they're doing their job, they're feeling good about their performance.
Absolutely. She can be that consistent source of offense for West Virginia, but she's not that loud player for your team, and so she's okay with not taking all the attention and at times letting her teammates go to work. And it's also because she draws so much attention. So when teams make those adjustments and are guarding Quinterly really difficultly, she's able to dish it off and let everyone else get involved.
Nice no-look pass right there by Harrison, gets that inside to Woodley. And that's the kind of offense I think West Virginia is really aiming to see more of as this season goes on.
Exactly. When you have an opportunity for a player to get an assist, you're getting someone else involved. That's exactly what Coach Kellogg likes to see. Jordan Harrison is an elite point guard. She's on the Nancy Lieberman Point Guard of the Year watch list, and so she has that vision and that ability to get everyone involved. He showed it off on that last play. You can see Jordan Harrison taking it up the court here, and a nice no-look pass to Woodley. A great job, and that's exactly the type of offense that Coach Kellogg wants to see. It's fast-paced, it's in transition, but it's not one-on-one. It's taking what the defense is giving you, drawing attention, and dishing it off to someone else.
Woodley with the fast break, but can't finish. And now Merchant quickly back down the court, tries to get it to Love, but a nice disruption there by West Virginia, and another turnover for Houston. At one point during the game, West Virginia had 27 points, and the only 2 scorers were Quinterly and Harrison. You're starting to see more of a balance on offense now, and that's exactly what Coach Kellogg, I think, was kind of talking to us about talking to us before the game.
That's really the challenge that he has presented to his team the past few games, and this one too is our defense has continued to get better and better, but I want to see our offense get better as well, and so that's what he's focusing on. There are some great defensive stats in the way that they have forced Houston over 24 times in this one, but he's going to be looking at the box score and seeing what they did on offense, and especially what they did in the half-court setting.
Well, because eventually you are going to run into these elite teams that are going to score points. Even with your tough defense, they're going to find a way to get up some shots, and so you have to be able to answer offensively as well. But it's still nice to tell you guys that 2 straight games, West Virginia has been able to keep their opponents to less than 50 points, and right now they are obviously looking very good to make that 3 games in a row. Nice job there by the freshman, Thomas, as she is fouled on the bucket, and she will go to the line looking to make it 3.
And Coach Kellogg's we've been talking a lot about the offense and what he wants to see do better, but you hear the saying, defense wins championships, and so that's the mindset that West Virginia has, and they have just been so dominant from start to finish on the defensive end, like always.
And I think more than anything, it's when our defense creates the turnovers, that's when we really have to capitalize. You know, it's the defense will result in offense, but you just got to make sure that you're executing.
And West Virginia has 37 points off turnovers in this one. That's more points than Houston has total in the game. So they are forcing turnovers, getting steals, and that's converting to buckets on the other end.
Nice shot there by McFarland for Houston. She's got 8 on the day, but West Virginia going right back to work. And that ball will stay with the Mountaineers. Layla Blair and McFarland both with 8 points on the day for Houston. That's a team high. Quinterly still with a team high 18 points for West Virginia. Can she make it 20? She does. And Quinterly back on the board with a nice little jump shot.
She also has 4 rebounds and 6 assists and 5 steals. So, I mean, that's just a complete game.
Absolutely.
That she has played.
And such a complete player in general. And again, you know, we mentioned it, but I think in today's age, especially with the transfer portal, so unique. She has been through 3 head coaching changes at West Virginia. This is 100% the school she wants to be at. She wants to leave her mark on. And again, just with the way that players are able to go in and out of the portal, and you've got some players who are on their 4th university in their career, to stay through the entire time through those head coaching changes, it just says a lot about her.
Loyalty is the first word that comes to mind when you hear something like that, and the way that she's been able to adapt and to adjust to different coaches and their styles and still have success. They create havoc and just for so many uncomfortable situations for Houston throughout this one, and they've just played a complete game.
And I think that's, again, what I'm most impressed by is their offensive numbers, but then when you talk about what they have done defensively, and again, against a Houston team that is not 100%, only 6 players available today, this was definitely a game that West Virginia on paper was the favorite, but to still come out and just play so relentlessly on defense, been really impressive today. Speaking of defense, Peyton McFarland, nice block there against Thomas. So Houston still staying in there, and again, I mentioned it before, I'll say it again, they have done a nice job of still just staying gritty and trying to do what they can with what they have today. Thomas working inside, and she finishes strong. Nice job there by the freshman, Jordan Thomas. She's got a couple of baskets on the day.
And that's what we were talking about. Now this is an opportunity for West Virginia to get some of those younger players more minutes and give your starters a rest. Make sure they're recovered because they're staying on the road, which is tiring in itself to be traveling. It's flu season, people are getting sick. So there's just so many things that go into traveling throughout basketball season, especially in conference play, especially in February where it just gets even tougher. And so to have a situation like this now where you can relax a little bit here for the rest of the game and get some other players involved is something Coach Kellogg, I know, does not take advantage of and is happy about.
Speaking of other players, Destiny Agubata, the freshman out of Moreno Valley, California, with her first basket of the day. Also on the court right now, number 37, Celia Riviere from Paris, France, the junior, transfer from Northwest Florida State, where she played 2 seasons. So again, new players on the court, getting some minutes right here. Experience is great, especially at this point in the season when you've got still quite a few games left, or a few enough handful of conference games, and then you're also looking at postseason play.
And then you look at the other end of the floor and you have Houston, and all their starters are still in because they don't have that option. And that's just what's really difficult for the Cougars. It's not just in this game alone that they're tired and they're in foul trouble and they're banged up, but that carries over to the next game now because they're having to play a complete 40 minutes.
And she's not on the court right now, but, you know, something I noticed looking at the stats, Austin, Aaliyah Love, who is on the bench, she has 0 points. So every Houston Cougar has some points to their name today, but Aaliyah Love just really struggling to get anything done. And that hurts because when you look at who you do have, you're probably pretty excited that Love and Blair are still healthy and able to play. And when we talked to Coach Huey at one point during the season, he said Blair and Love have to play great for us to win. And now you're even down more bodies, and Love just not really able to find any kind of rhythm today.
When your second leading scorer is held scoreless, it's an off night for her. She's struggled, no doubt about it, but that just makes it so difficult for this Houston team to win games when you're completely eliminating one of your best players and she doesn't add anything of value on the offensive end when it comes to scoring. Now, yes, she did do some things on the defensive end. She has 5 rebounds and a couple assists, so she was trying to make an impact in other ways, but that really, really hurts Houston when she has a game where it's an off night for her and she goes scoreless.
Jump ball between Agubata and McFarland. As we were having our conversation there, Riviere also got on the board. So doing a nice work off the bench, these West Virginia players. Also in the game right now, Zaya Nugent, the redshirt senior out of Denison, Texas. She came to West Virginia with Coach Mark Kellogg from Stephen F. Austin. Nugent spent 4 seasons at SFA. Coach Kellogg, 8 seasons in Nacogdoches.
And Coach Kellogg is from Texas, and so like you said, when players get excited to go back to their home state and play in front of their friends and family and maybe high school teammates, it's the same thing for coaches as well. He's spent so much time here in the state of Texas, and so having an opportunity to play at Houston and then stay a couple games and play at Baylor as well, it's always fun even for a coach to have that chance to be back in a familiar territory and get that opportunity to be back in front of some old friends and family.
Yeah, and speaking of Nugent, mentioned she played 4 seasons at SFA. She had to redshirt her senior year and redshirt last season at West Virginia. 2 very significant injuries. She went 962 days out of game play between those 2 injuries. And so to be able to come back and stick with it and stay with this game, just really impressive stuff there by Nugent.
Imagine how many players, you know, go through 100 days of not playing basketball and being like, I'm done, I'm calling it quits.
Yep.
200, 300.
Even one season-ending injury, we hear about it all the time, and it's so frustrating when you're unable to play the sport that you love. So 962 days, 2 seasons in a row, and you're still willing to come back and play that sport.
That is just a testament to the passion and the mindset that you have, that you love this game and you are going to do everything you can to get yourself back on the court.
And those are the kind of players, even if they're not a starter, even if they never get back to 100%, I think those are the kind of players you want on your team. When we talked to Coach Kellogg, he said character creates culture. He said we use that word culture a lot, and it gets kind of thrown around, right? We hear every head coach we've talked to this season says creating a culture, having a good culture. Nice run right there by Gigi Cook. But he said it's all about the character of the players and the character of my staff, and you know, even down to the team managers. Character is what really creates that culture.
And he has created that culture at West Virginia, and he has some really nice players, and it's a credit to the way that he's recruited, a credit to the way he's developed them, and a credit to his coaching staff. But he likes this team. He sees the potential of what they can do in postseason, and so he's really excited about the group as a whole.
Kiera Merchant with a nice pull-up jump shot. She's got 9 points on the day. The lead is 30 for West Virginia. Just under 2 minutes left to play.
And you can see there with West Virginia having this lead here and just a couple minutes left, Coach Kellogg is still standing up. He still has his arms crossed. He's still talking to players out on the court and on the bench. And so he is taking every opportunity, regardless of the score, to help his team get better.
Well, and again, when you put those players in off the bench, you want them to know you care about their play as well. It's not just, all right, y'all take care of the rest of it, I'm going to stop coaching. This is actually probably the more important time to coach these players.
Well, these players that are in the game right now, they battle so hard in practice. They are the ones that are making the starters better by the way that they push them in practice. And so for them now to have this opportunity, you're rooting for them. You want them to have success because they have done so much work behind the scenes that no one sees, and they don't get the credit and attention that the starters do.
Houston won't say die. A nice 3 right there by Gigi Cook. She all of a sudden has 16 points on the day. Cook has done a really nice job of continuing to battle. West Virginia, though, battling on the glass. That's Agubata as she rips down that rebound and puts up another basket.
And you can see Gigi Cook has a knee brace on. She's also dealt with other injuries throughout this season, got banged up last game, but that's just a testament to the willingness and the physicality that she is playing with, regardless of how her body feels right now.
And Cook wears a lot of emotion. I mean, you know exactly how she feels.
And you can see it right there.
And sure enough, yeah, and well, and that is going to be, I believe, her 5th foul. And so I think we are going to see Gigi Cook leave the game as she fouls out, and so Aaliyah Love will have to come back in. But what a tough game. As you mentioned, she's playing banged up, and she just continues to fight. She'll end her day with 16 points. That's a team high. She was 5 for 10.
You don't have to credit her effort. She gave it her all, and she did her part of just doing what she can to make a difference in this one with the limited numbers that Houston had.
Cook 2 for 3 3-point shots, but now Houston will have to finish the game without her. Less than 30 seconds left to play. Bostic with another 3, and she finds another basket. Nice job there by Summer Bostic. She is 2 for 5 with those 3-point shots today.
And Houston's made their last 5 field goals, and yes, that's not going to affect the outcome in any way, but that does give you a little bit of confidence and just a momentum boost of going into the next game now. You feel a little bit better about yourself. It's a moral victory more than anything.
Absolutely. Again, that never say die. 5 of their last 5 shots, Houston could have